Right now, there are people you would do almost anything to protect. Your family, your closest friends, the handful of humans you would put yourself in danger for without a second thought. That pull, the urge to shield your own, is probably the most beautiful thing about you. It is also the thing that invented war. Not greed, not hatred, not some dark, broken corner of human nature. War didn't come from the worst in us. It came from the best. So how does the most loving instinct we have end up building the most terrible thing we do? To answer that, you have to start with the strangest fact about our species. Humans are not strong. We are not fast. We have no claws, no fangs, no armor. By every measure that matters in the wild, one human alone is a snack. We took over the entire planet for a single reason. We are the most cooperative animal that has ever lived. We share food with people we are not related to. We risk ourselves for total strangers. We pack millions of people into cities where, almost all the time, they simply do not attack each other. No other large animal on Earth comes close to that. An ant colony cooperates too, but only ever with its own sisters. A human being will weep for a stranger on the far side of a world they will never visit. No species has ever stretched the circle of us as wide as we have. That is our miracle. Our superpower was never our bodies. It was each other. We survived by becoming a we. But here is the catch evolution never warns you about. You cannot build an us without drawing a line, and the instant you draw it, you create a them on the other side. The same wiring that makes you love your group is the wiring that decides who does not belong to it. Scientists even have a name for this. They call it parochial altruism. And here is the unsettling part. Our devotion to our own and our suspicion of outsiders did not evolve separately. They evolved together. Love and war are not opposites. They are two edges of the same blade. And it runs deep. Babies, before they can even speak, already lean toward the faces and voices of their own. Put any group of humans under pressure and they pull tighter together, while outsiders turn foreign, suspect, other, almost in seconds. There is even a chemical fingerprint of it. Oxytocin, the so-called love hormone that bonds a mother to her newborn, is the very same molecule that, in study after study, sharpens our loyalty to our own and our wariness of everyone else. The chemistry of love and the chemistry of tribalism are the same chemistry. This is the piece people get wrong about war. The man who picks up a weapon to defend his village is not a monster. In his own mind, he is doing the most loving thing a person can do. He is protecting his people. Almost every war in history has been sold to the people fighting it not as hatred, but as protection. War does not run on cruelty. It runs on love, turned outward and dressed up as fear. And the impulse is far older than we are. Our closest relatives, chimpanzees, patrol the edges of their territory in silent armed groups, and when they corner a lone male from the neighboring community, they finish him. In the 1970s, the primatologist Jane Goodall watched two groups of chimpanzees she had known for years slowly split apart and wage a 4-year war, hunting one another down one by one until an entire community was gone. No human taught them that. It is not culture. It runs deeper than us, a species barely 300,000 years old. We did not invent the urge to band together and wipe out the group next door. We inherited it. For most of our history, though, that urge stayed small. Our ancestors were nomads who owned almost nothing and followed the seasons. There were no borders to guard, no cities to besiege, no storehouses to raid, and yet it reaches far back. On the shore of Lake Turkana in Kenya, archaeologists uncovered 27 foragers from around 10,000 years ago. Men, women, children, a pregnant woman, some with their hands bound, skulls shattered, sharp obsidian blades still buried in them, wiped out by another band that wanted what they had. An older site in Sudan, perhaps 13,000 years old, tells the same grim story. The instinct was always switched on. It simply had nothing large enough to point at yet. So what turned a wandering animal that owned almost nothing into one that builds armies? It was not a new instinct. It was a new world. We did something that changed everything, entirely by accident. We stopped wandering. We began to farm. And for the first time in the history of our species, humans had things: grain in storage, animals in pens, land worth more than the empty stretch beside it. A surplus. The word mine. Think about what that did to the old instinct. For hundreds of thousands of years, the drive to protect your own had almost nothing solid to grab. Now, there was a full granary worth taking, and worth defending with your life. The wiring that once sparked a quick scuffle had a prize big enough to plan around. So we dug the first defensive ditches. We raised the first walls around our towns. The town of Jericho wrapped itself in a thick stone wall more than 10,000 years ago, one of the oldest walls humanity ever built. We handed a few people a single job to fight for the group and called them soldiers. The raid swelled into an army. The feud hardened into a war. We never sat down one afternoon and invented it. It fell out of an ancient instinct colliding with a brand new world we built without meaning to. And here is the cruelest part. The trap we never saw closing. So why, as we grew kinder and more cooperative with our own, did our wars only grow worse? The better we got at cooperating, the worse our wars became. As our groups grew, from bands to tribes to nations to empires, the circle of us swelled to include millions. But the them on the far side swelled right alongside it. A species that learned to unite millions of strangers under one flag also learned to send millions of strangers to fight under another. By the 20th century, that same ancient instinct, the urge to protect our own, could raise armies of tens of millions and turn whole cities to ash in a single night. The wiring had not changed at all. Only the scale had. Our greatest gift and our greatest curse turned out to be the very same gift. And that instinct never left. It is in you right now. You feel it every single time the world splits into us and them. Your team and the other team. Your country and theirs. Your side and the people you have quietly decided are on the wrong one. That warmth toward your own and that flicker of wariness toward the outsider is not an opinion you reasoned your way into. It is a circuit hundreds of thousands of years old, doing exactly what it was shaped to do. The strange thing is, that line was never fixed in place. The US can be drawn tight around a single family or stretched impossibly wide around the whole species. We have done both. So, the question our ancestors handed us by accident is the one we are still trying to answer today. How wide can we draw the circle before the old instinct turns back on us? So, here is the truth sitting underneath all of it. We did not invent war because we are cruel. We invented it because we love. The same instinct that makes you protect your family is the one that scaled up and aimed at strangers, raises armies and burns cities to the ground. The most cooperative animal that has ever existed is also the most dangerous to its own kind. And those are not two separate facts about us. They are one fact, wearing two faces. We are at war with each other for the very same reason we would lay down our lives for each other. Love and war are the two edges of the same blade, like a knife that cannot cut for you without also being able to cut you. And maybe that is the hardest thing to accept about being human. The thing we would most love to fix is not some flaw buried in us. It is the best part of us, with nowhere safe to point.